Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in a 2014 Nissan Pathfinder, and today we're going to show you how to install our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kit. As you can see, it's already been installed into this car. It's been paired to iPhone wirelessly. You can also pair it to your Android phone wirelessly. You can control the system with the original touchscreen controls, or you can control it with these controls right there. You can easily switch back to the original Nissan system by pressing and holding the back button. So you will not lose any functionality from your original Nissan system. You just get an extra mode which you didn't have before. If you put your car into reverse, this image will go away and you'll see the original rear view camera. And now we're going to show you how to install this product in this Nissan. So the tools that you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver. This is our hook tool. Also, you're going to need a panel removal tool. And of course, you're going to need our product. So we'll start here, and first we're going to remove this panel in order to get to the screw. So it just held on clips, and then there are two hooks. So you have to kind of put it forward, and then these hooks will release. We'll use our Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to remove this screw right here in the middle. Now we're going to use our hands, and we're going to wiggle this panel out. And there's going to be 3 connections at the back, so you just have to press the clips, and we have to disconnect all of them. Here there are 2 more screws that we have to remove. Again, we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver. So now we have to remove this entire panel here, and first you need to unclip at the bottom this plastic piece. So we'll use our hook tool to get in between the 2 panels, and you just have to unclip it down, and now you can grab this whole thing with your fingers on top and bottom and just pull it out towards yourself. There's 1 more connection here at the bottom you have to disconnect. We now are going to remove this metal bracket, which is held on these 4 bolts. So you can see 2 on each side, and that way 2 of them hold the actual head unit in place on top. So we need to get to the back of the head unit, and that's why we have to remove all 4 bolts. So if you notice, the bolts that we remove that actually hold the head unit are this kind of white color, silverish, and the bolts we removed earlier that hold the outside panels are black. So when you're putting everything back, make sure that the bolts go into correct place, because the threads are different, and if you put them in different places, it will damage the threads. Now you can carefully grab the bracket and move it away. Now we're at the bottom of the head unit, and there are 2 more bolts that we have to remove. As you can see, there's 1 right here and 1 over there. So we'll be working at the back of the head unit, and we're going to pull it out, but we also suggest to move the shifter all the way down in order to have more space to work at the back of the stereo. And for that, you have to remove this little cap here. Make sure that the foot brake is on. We're gonna press the button behind, and now we can move the shifter all the way down. Now the head unit can come out, and also, not to scratch anything, you can use some sort of microfiber cloth underneath here to cover the dashboard. And the connections that we're going to be doing are these 2. These are the main connections, the video, and also this connection for sound. So now we're going to show you what comes in our kit. So here you have the main module. This is all the wiring. So this is our main harness. So these 2 ends will get plugged in to our module, and these 2 ends with the connections will be at the back of the head unit. Then you have 1 more wire for sound, also at the back of the head unit, and then this end will plug into our harness. You have our video wire, you have your wireless antenna, and this is your USB cable, and it's also to be used for wired CarPlay, wired Android Auto, and it's used for updates. And we'll wire this cable on the side here on the passenger side footwell compartment. So we'll start with these 2 connections from our main harness, and they will go here and there. 1 is bigger, 1 is smaller. So we'll disconnect them both, and we'll first connect to the smaller connection. So you have to insert ours instead, and then the original one will go into our harness. Now this is the bigger one. Same thing, make sure ours plugs in all the way. Then the original one will go into our harness. Now we'll get to the auxiliary wire, which is right here. So we're going to disconnect this connection. We're gonna grab this wire. We'll plug in our wire instead. The original one will go into here. And this other end of the auxiliary wire, you have to make sure to plug it in to our harness, which is marked as auxiliary. Now we need to remove the original video wire. This one right here. It will go into our wire right here, into our female. Then we are going to connect ours instead. And then this blue end will go into our module. We will route the USB cable, like I said, is going to be in the passenger footwell compartments. There's an opening right here where you can just put the wire through. And now we're going to go on the inside with our hands. And we're going to catch it here. This end will get plugged in to our module. And as you can see, you can just leave this amount of length right here. And the last thing that we have to route and install is this wireless antenna. So make sure you don't stick it to the module, but you can find a place around the back of the dashboard here where it's mostly flat, where you can peel this off and sticker it there. And then this end we're going to have to plug into our module. So now we'll start doing all the connections into our module. So we'll start with power harnesses. Then there should be our video cable here with the blue end. On the other side we have to plug in the USB cable. And the last thing is the wireless antenna. So once the connections are done, now we can hide the module. And in this car, as you can see, we pulled out the stereo as far as we could. And the module will be hidden right there. There's an opening. So this is still the cubby underneath the head unit. Make sure don't put the module here, otherwise it's going to be visible. But behind it, there's open space where you just carefully going to take your module and all of its wiring, and we have to fit it into that cavity so it's not in the way of the head unit when we're putting everything back. And then you're gonna push it down so the module doesn't move. It's perfect space for it there. So now we're gonna start putting the head unit back. We're gonna carefully move the wires around. Make sure when you're putting it back that you don't lose these two original wires which we disconnected initially, because they have to stay on top of the stereo. There's also one at the bottom here, and for that one, make sure that when you're putting the stereo back that it's with these metal brackets, you don't damage that wire at the bottom. So as you can see, the head unit is back in its place. We're going to start securing it with the original bolts. So first we'll start with the bottom and putting the two bottom bolts back. So now we're going to start assembling the car. We'll connect this panel back, make sure that the two wires on top are here. We're going to clip it in, and then we're going to leave this one hanging for now because we're going to first test this whole system and we're not going to install the bracket. We will take this panel, connect everything here. So there's 3 connections total here. And at this point, we will test everything. So for testing, we will connect our iPhone by the wire first. You can also pair it wirelessly to the system, but this is just for testing. You gotta make sure that iPhone is charging. Here in the original system, you have to make sure that the sound source is set to auxiliary. So we'll go through the sound sources, and it's been set to auxiliary. We'll press and hold the back button. And because our iPhone has been connected by the wire, it will take you straight to CarPlay. Or if you connect your Android phone, it will take you to AndroidAuto. And you're going to test the system to make sure that everything is working. You're going to test the sound, the touch screen. So the sound is working, touch screen is working. So the testing has been complete, everything works. And now we can reassemble the car fully. Now we're going to clip in everything at the bottom. So just clip it in here. Now we're going to put in our 2 screws here. And remember to put the black ones here, not the silver ones. Next is this metal bracket. So you have to line it up with 4 holes. We again reconnected 3 connections, and now we can Put this panel back for the final time. And then there's the last bolt right here that we need to install. Next is this cover. So first insert these two hooks and then clip it in place. So the installation has been completed. We pair the iPhone wirelessly to the system through the settings of our kit. And now we can enjoy Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this Nissan Pathfinder. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.